Hi chat, welcome back to another YouTube video where we're going to be reading The Artist's Way. Okay, so next we're reading Spiritual Electricity, the Basic Principles. Okie doke. For most of us, the idea that the Creator encourages creativity is a radical thought. We tend to think, or at least fear, that creative dreams are egotistical. Something that God wouldn't approve of for us. After all, our creative artist is an inner youngster and prone to childish thinking. If our mom or dad express doubt or disapproval for our creative dreams, we may project the same attitude onto a parental God. The thinking must be undone. What we are talking about is an induced or invited spiritual experience. I refer to this process as spiritual chiropractic. We undertake certain spiritual exercises to achieve alignment with the creative energy of the universe. If you think the universe is a vast electrical sea in which you are immersed, from which you are formed, opening to your creativity changes you from something bobbing in a sea to a more fully functioning, more conscious, more cooperative part of that ecosystem. As a teacher, I often sense the presence of something transcendent, a spiritual electricity, if you will. And I have come to rely on it in transcending my own limitations. I take the phrase inspired teacher to be a quite literal compliment. A higher hand than just my own engages us. Christ said, "Wherever two or more are gathered together, there I am in your midst." The God of creativity seems to feel the same way. The heart of creativity is an experience of the mystical unions. The heart of the mystical union is an experience of creativity. Those who speak in spiritual terms routinely refer to God as the creator, but seldom see creator as the literal term for artist. I'm suggesting you take the term creator quite literally. You are seeking to forge creative alliance, artist to artist, with the great creator. Accepting this concept can greatly expand your creative possibilities. As you work with the tools in this book, you undertake the weekly tasks. Many changes will be set in motion. Chief among these changes will be the triggering of synchronicity. We change, the universe furthers and expands that change. I have an irrelevant shorthand for this that I keep taped to my writing desk. Leap and the net will appear. It is my experience, both as an artist and as a teacher, that when we move out on faith into the art, into the into the act of creation, the universe is able to advance. It is a little like opening the gate at the top of a field irrigation system. Once we remove the blocks, the flow moves in. Again, I do not ask you to believe this. In order for this creative emergence to happen, you don't have to believe in God. I simply ask you to observe and note this process as it unfolds. In effect, you will be midwifing and witnessing your own creative progress. Creativity is an expression, to my eye, a spiritual experience. It does not matter which way you think of it. Creativity leading to spirituality, or spirituality leading to creativity. In fact, I do not make a distinction between the two. In the face of such experience, the whole question of belief is rendered obsolete. As Carl Jung answered the question of belief late in his life, I do not believe, I know. The following spiritual principles are the bedrock on the creative recovery and discovery can be built. Read them through once a day and keep an inner ear cocked. For any shifts in attitudes or beliefs. Okay, so the basic principle 1, creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. Number 2, there is an underlying, indwelling creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. Wake me up inside, wake me up and save me, call my name and save me from the... Okay. Number 3, when we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. Number 4, we ourselves creation. We are ourselves creations, and we in turn are meant to continue creativity by being creative ourselves. How many times is this going to say creative? Number 5, creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God. Okay, number 6, the refusal to be creative is self-will and is counter to our true nature. Number 7, when we open ourselves to exploring our creativity, we open ourselves to God. Good orderly direction. Is she using God as an acronym? Good orderly direction? Huh. Okay. It is safe to open ourselves up to greater and greater creativity. Oh, that was number 9. Number 9 is it is safe to open ourselves up to a greater and greater creativity. Number 10 is our creative dreams and yearnings come from a divine source. As we move toward our dreams, we move toward our divinity. Yeah. All right. Next page. How to use this book for your creative recovery. There are a number of ways to use this book. Most of all, I invite you to use it creatively. This section offers you a sort of roadmap through the process with some specific ideas about how to proceed. Some students have done the course solo. Others have formed circles to work through the book together. In the back of the book, you'll find guidelines about doing the work in a group. in groups. No matter which way you choose, the artist way will work for you. First, you may want to glance through the book to get a sense of the territory covered. Reading the book through is not the same as using it. Each chapter includes essays, exercises, tasks, and a weekly check-in. Don't be daunted by the amount of work it seems to entail. Much of the work is really play, and the course takes little more than 1 hour a day. When I am formally teaching, I suggest students set a weekly schedule. For example, if you're going to work a Sunday to Saturday week, begin by reading the chapter of the week on Sunday night. After you've read the chapter, speed right through the exercises. The exercises in each week are critical, so are the morning pages of the artist date. More about these in the next chapter. You probably won't have time to complete all of the other tasks in any given week when you are able to get back to them. In choosing which half of the tasks you probably won't have time to complete all the other tasks in any given week. Try to do about half. Know what the rest are there for use when you are able to get back to them. In choosing which half of the tasks to do, use 2 guidelines. Pick those that appeal to you. Pick those that appeal to you. And those you strongly resist. Leave the more neutral ones for later. Just remember, in choosing that, we often resist what we most need. In all, we make a time commitment for about 7 to 10 hours a week, an hour a day, or slightly more if you choose. This modest commitment to using the tools can yield tremendous results within the 12 weeks of this course. The same tools used over a long period of time can alter the trajectory of a lifetime. That's a lot of commitment. I'm so lazy. In working with this book, remember that the artist's way is a spiral path. You will circle through some of the issues over and over, each time at a different level. There is no such thing as being done with the artistic life. Frustrations and rewards exist at all levels on the path. Our aim here is to find the trails, establish our footing, and begin to climb the creative vistas that open will quickly excite you. What to expect? Many of us we were more creative. Many of us sense we are more creative, but unable to effectively tap that creativity. Our dreams elude us. Our lives feel somehow flat. Often we have great ideas, wonderful dreams, but are unable to actualize them for ourselves. Sometimes we have specific creative longings we would love to be able to fulfill. Learning to play piano, painting, taking acting classes, or writing. Sometimes our goal is more diffuse. We hunger for what we might be called creative living, an expanded sense of creativity in our business lives. In sharing with our children, our spouse, our friends, Well, there's no quick fix for instant pain-free creativity, creative recovery, or discovery. It is a teachable, trackable spiritual process. Each of us is complex and highly individual. Yet there are more common recognizable denominators to the creative recovery process. Working with this process, I see a certain amount of defiance and giddiness in the first few weeks. This entry stage is followed closely by explosive anger in this course's midsection. The anger is followed by grief, then alternating waves of resistance and hope. This peaks and valleys phase is growth. This peaks and valleys phase of growth becomes a series of expansions and contractions, a birthing process in which students experience intense elation and defensive skepticism. This choppy growth phase is followed by a strong urge to abandon the process and return to life as we know it. In other words, a bargaining period. People are often tempted to abandon the course at this point. I call this a creative U-turn. Recommitment to the process next triggers the free fall of a major ego surrender. Following this, the final phase of the course is characterized by a new sense of self marked by increased autonomy, resilience, expectancy, and excitement, as well as by the capacity to make and execute concrete creative plans. If this sounds a lot like emotional tumult, it is. When we engage in a when we engage in a creative When we engage in a creativity recovery, we enter into a withdrawal from the process from life as we know it. Withdrawal is another way of saying detachment or non-attachment, which is emblematic of consistent work with any meditation practice. In movie terms, we slowly pull focus, lifting up and away from being embedded in our lives until we attain an overview. This overview empowers us to make a valid creative choice. Think of it as a journey with difficult, varied, and fascinating terrain. You are moving to higher ground. The fruit of your withdrawal is what you need to understand as a positive practice, both painful and exhilarating. Many of us find that we have squandered our own creative energies by investing disappointingly in the lives, hopes and dreams and plans of others. Their lives have obscured and deterred our own. As we consolidate a core through our own boundaries, dreams, and authentic goals, our personal flexibility increases while our malleability to the whims of others decreases. We experience a heightened sense of autonomy or possibility. Ordinarily, when we speak of withdrawal, we think of having a substance removed from us. We give up alcohol, drugs, sugar, fats, caffeine, nicotine, and we suffer a withdrawal. It's useful to view creative withdrawal a little differently. We ourselves are the substance we withdraw to, not from. and we pull our overextended and misplaced creative energy back into our own core. We began to excavate our buried dreams. This is a tricky process. Some of our dreams are very volatile, and the mere act of brushing them off sends an enormous surge of energy bolting through our denial system. Such grief, such loss, such pain. It is at this point in the recovery process that we make what Robert Bly calls a descent into ashes. We mourn the self we abandon. We greet this self as we might greet a lover at the end of a long and costly war. To effect a creative recovery, we must undergo a time of mourning and dealing with the suicide of the nice self. Okay. We have been making do with. We find a certain amount of grief to be essential. Our tears prepare the ground for our future growth. With this creative moistening, we may remain barren. We must allow this creative moistening. We must allow the bolt of pain to strike us. Remember, this is useful pain. Lightning illuminates. How do you know if you are creatively blocked? Jealousy is an excellent clue. Are there artists whom you resent? Do you tell yourself, I could do that, if only? Do you tell yourself that if you do you tell yourself that if only you took your creative potential seriously, you might? Stop telling yourself it's too late. Stop waiting until you make enough money to do something you'd really love. Stop telling yourself it's just my ego. Whenever you yearn for a more creative life, stop telling yourself that dreams don't matter. They are only dreams, and that you should be more sensible. Stop fearing that your family and friends would think you're crazy. Stop telling yourself that creativity is a luxury and that you should be grateful for what you've got. As you learn to recognize nature and protect your inner artist, you will be able to move beyond pain and creative constriction. You will learn ways to recognize and resolve fear, remove emotional scar tissue, and strengthen your confidence. Damaging old ideas about creativity will be explored and discarded. Working with this book, you will experience an intensive guided encounter with your own creativity. Your private villains, champions, wishes, fears, dreams, hopes, and triumphs. The experience will make you excited, depressed, angry, afraid, joyous, hopeful, and ultimately more free. Okay, that's a chapter. I feel like I want to do one chapter a day because I don't want to use that much storage in my camera. Also, yeah, there probably won't be a new video tomorrow because I will be volunteering. Yeah, so maybe the day after that. Maybe like 2 days after that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is gonna take me forever if I do this on camera, but like if I don't do it on camera, I might not do it because I'm lazy. I don't know, because like I'm just like, no one's gonna watch this, for one. For two, yeah, I don't think, I don't know. I don't know. I like, this is a big ass book. All right. I'll see you